What's going on, everybody? My name is Seth and you're watching 252 Squad, and outside today we got all the boys and we have Brandon's slow 3-valve here, and that is not what this video is about. It's about my Mustang, putting a WOT box and some Moser axles in it. But I figured this would be a funny time to have an intro because this dude can't work on a car and this dude's buying a faster car and this dude's got a Cobra. But anyways, sit tight, relax, and enjoy the video.
1, 2, 3!
Alrighty, so as you can see behind me, we got the car in the bay getting ready to put these Moser axles in. That's what we're going to start with. So I got the axles down here. I went ahead and got the ABS rings all mounted up on them so you can see right there. We got some ABS rings. I mounted those using a press. We'll show that when I go to put them in and everything. But let's go ahead and get this thing up in the air, get the wheels off of it, and go ahead and start ripping it all apart so we can put some upgraded axles in it because the other ones are twisted like a pretzel. So in the rear here, we're going to start by taking all the brakes off. So calipers, rotors, everything like that, because I do have these ARP lug studs that I really want to keep. These were expensive, and so I'm going to try to knock them out and reuse them if I can. So we're going to try for that. So yeah, I'm going to go ahead and start by disassembling the caliper and everything here, getting this all apart, try to get these studs out. Alrighty, so we got the wheel studs knocked out of this thing. I actually saved all of them, which I am very hyped about. Killed one lug nut, but that's fine. I can just order another set of those. But we got all the ARP studs out, which is great. Now I'm getting ready to lift it up and go ahead and take the diff cover off and go ahead and see what it looks like in there. Alrighty, so we yanked the C-clips out after we got the cover off. So now we're getting ready to just go ahead and slide the axles right out, and it should drop right out pretty fine. Alrighty, so I got a little carried away, but as you can see maybe on camera, it's kind of hard to see. This axle does one of those. It's not completely straight, especially compared to that one. So we got all the axle stuff out, and I went ahead and got the new bearings and everything installed. So I got new bearings installed here and new seals. I just used, since I'm a mechanic here, I got this Matco set that we use to stick those in there. But you can use a socket, from what I've heard, a socket, and just hit it with a hammer to get them in if you're doing them on your own. And then now I just got to put the ABS rings on the axles, which I'm just going to use our lovely press over there, and then be able to slide them in. Alrighty, so I've been cranking out on the rear end. So we got everything reassembled as far as everything in the cover, and all that goes for the axles. Got the axles and C-clips in and everything. And then I reinstalled the ARP lug studs with a lug installer tool. So that went pretty well there. Now I just got to throw the brake assembly back together and we should be good as far as the rear axle goes. Alrighty, so we got everything for the rear axles and got the Mosers in, got everything back together, brakes and all that are back on. So it's now time to start cranking out on the WOT box. I started on that last night, but we're going to go ahead and resume before I started right now. Alrighty, so the goal of the WOT box is to mount it up in the glove box to get everything done that way. So let me show you what I'm working with. So we've got the entire mess of everything, but we got the WOT box here, and essentially what I'm gonna do with this is I'm gonna put it in there somewhere. Probably gonna mount it up. My goal is like where the owner's manual is supposed to go or something like that, like maybe in that little corner there. I still wanna be able to access the button there that's on top. Just gonna kind of rough mock it up and run the wiring right fast. Alrighty, so I have been messing around with the WOT box, and so if you can see down in there, we got the cord. I have it ran through, and the ground is actually hooked up on the back side. I'll show you all that in a little bit when I get everything all put together. But we got it running down here. I'm gonna have to run a few wires over to here, so I'll go over those, and then I have to run a few more down through that grommet right there that goes to the fender well and everything, and then I'm gonna have to run those to the PCM. So right now I've got everything on the inside mounted up how I want it to. I just gotta run the wiring. So the ground I was talking about is actually ran out of the back of the WOT box and ran to right here. So essentially the wiring harness for the WOT box runs right here, and you can see this ground cable comes up, and then it's just ground in right there, and that seems to be working perfectly fine for me. All right, so coming on the inside, wow, you really can't see it down there, but I do have the wiring ran from down there through the foot panel. There is a spot on that kick panel down there that you can run through. I had subs in the car at one point, and so I already had a cut hole there, so I've just ran it through there. And luckily for me, with my turbo set up, my PCM and fuse box is right there, so I'm just gonna be able to run it from there across, and they're probably right there. Alrighty, so I said it was gonna be easy, but it's not. I had to pull the whole front bumper off to get in my fuse box here. And so what we're doing with the watt box here is we're gonna go ahead and start wiring it in. And to do that, I had to pull these covers off, pull the fuse box out a little bit. And the one pin we're gonna start by looking at is where this fuse 15 here is. It's gonna be fuse 40. And on the back side here, you can see there's gonna be a yellow with a green line wire. You can kind of see right there. So what I did was cut and like strip it back on both sides, so you can see it's stripped back there. So I gave myself enough room. I cut it back far enough that I could strip it. And now I'm gonna actually end up taking this red and this orange wire here that goes to the watt box, and I'm gonna pretty much put it in circuit with that. So I'm gonna put the red to right here and the orange to the other wire, crimp them in together and heat shrink it and make it to essentially put the watt box in the middle of the circuit here. Alrighty, so we got it all pretty much connected up. So we got the red going into the fuse box at that fuse right there on fuse 40, the yellow and the green wire, and then where we cut it at, we have the orange wire going into that. So essentially, like I said, we're getting the watt box to go in the series here. So it's, instead of going just, you know, from here to there, it's going through the watt box now. So that's what we got going on there. I'm just gonna throw the heat shrink over it and clean it up. So now that I got the fuse box part installed for the watt box, I am currently moved on to running it to the PCM. So I got the connectors out here, as you can see, and starting with the bottom connector on the PCM would be the one down there. I have the white and blue wire disconnected there, and then the blue wire for the watt box running into that. I got those wires together, splicing into that. So essentially what I'm gonna do is two into that end, and then the other side of the blue and white wire that I cut is just gonna go into there. And I'm gonna heat shrink that up, and then the bottom connector of the PCM will be done, and then I'll move on to the middle and then the top. Alrighty, so for the next wire, we have the PCM connector in the middle, and so we have pin 13. So you're gonna be able to see it by, if you take the cover off, you can see it pretty well like that. But pin 13 is right here, and it is gonna be yellow and purple. There's multiple yellow and purple, so that's why I said to make sure it's pin 13. You're gonna take that one and you're gonna split it, and you're gonna do the exact same thing. With the yellow wire for the watt box, you're gonna essentially tie it this end into here and then tie them together. So you're gonna have 3 connections into one splice, and that will be for the yellow wire of the watt box. All right, so the last connecting was the green wire here from the watt box, ended up going to pin 21, which is a green and purple wire here. It's kind of hard to see. The pin 21 on the top connector, we went ahead and got all that wired up. So now I'm gonna go ahead and just plug everything in and check on the inside how the watt box is doing. All right, so as you can see, we got everything put back together and we are inside the car. I am on the N2B's. Essentially their system here, I got it plugged into the watt box down there in the glove box. And so with the settings, this is what I'm running. So we got the Ford CKP here. Everything is set with a 1.71 on the throttle and on the no lift shift. So you have to set it like that. If not, on these 11 to 14 cars, the voltage won't measure right when you go down here to take a vehicle snapshot. But you can go through and adjust your settings. So I have my launch control at 5,000 here. And if I go ahead and drop the window so we can hear a little bit, put her in gear. It's very, very rowdy. And this is the main thing. I can finally get it to spool up on the line and be able to take off pretty hard. Alrighty guys, so we got the watt box and everything installed, as you can see in the last clip, and it has been great for me. We've taken it to the track one time, as you can probably see by the stickers or the markings on the windshield, and I had it set at 6,000 RPMs, leaving about 4 pounds of boost, and it worked out perfectly on the line for me. So yeah, it's been an actual massive success putting that in, as well as the axles. I no longer have a crazy amount of hop, and doesn't feel like it's gonna die going down the highway, even with the big old drag radials on the back. So it's been a massive success in this video, guys. So yeah, I thank you so much for watching. I hope you like, and if you did, like the video and consider subscribing. Hope you have a great rest of y'all's day. Peace out, and I'll see you next time. What's going on, everybody? My name is Seth, and you're watching YouTube.